We're the Mercury High Finance Club, and our product today is Stream Easy, where streaming meets sports. That's the sports creators. Should we call it So what's the problem there, right? Young people are not watching sports, at least as much as old people are. 35% of fans pirate games, and the average NFL viewer is 62.5. So how do we fix this, right? Streamers pay monthly for access. They have an audience of young viewers, capitalize on that, and that'll increase young viewership in sports. More viewers means a higher fee for the streamer, and monetization handles itself. The streamers already monetize their viewers, we just charge the streamers rent, basically, for the licensed access.
So why Streezy works is, it was pretty concisely stated here by Gabe Newell, who is the founder and CEO of Steam. He said that piracy is, the easiest way to stop piracy is by giving a product that is better than the pirating websites. So for us, Streezy would alleviate that concern because we're giving people an accessible solution and also a fun solution to streaming sports, because people can watch their favorite streamers while also watching sports at the same time.
Right, and this would shift a lot of viewers from pirating platforms onto platforms like Twitch and Kick that would generate revenue for ESPN. So it's a new revenue stream for ESPN, and that would be one of the bigger motivations, along with achieving young viewership, for ESPN to give us sub-licensing rights. So that connects into how we actually get licensed. This is the hard part. Our plan step one would be to reach out to ESPN Media Licensing and negotiate a sub-licensing partnership with ESPN. Second step, we would have to convince ESPN. I think as young people, we have a unique advantage because they tried a lot of different things to get young viewers. And I know that Atrioc, for example, they had an initiative for a while to get Toy Story characters into their sports matches, which, as someone who likes sports myself, that didn't convince me at all to spend so much money on subscriptions. So I think if we were to come with them with our honest advice on how to actually get young people to watch sports and what young people are already doing, I think we get to step 3, which is negotiating a revenue share, where we have a projected 90-10 structure, which Streezy gets 10% as a middleman, and ESPN gets 90%. So our marketing plan here would be streamers with many young viewers. Some examples of this are Sketch on Twitch. He was the best sports streamer in 2024, and he was partnered with the NFL. And Aiden Ross on Kick streamed NFL illegally to 100,000 plus people. We give a legal way to do exactly that. This shows there's already an audience out there for it. And he had no support. The NFL didn't reach out to him saying, hey, do you want to stream this? You have a big audience. We would do that for the NFL. And so we'd be providing a unique service for both the NFL and Aiden Ross here. And our marketing at first would be to contact medium to large size streamers to establish a track record before we go after the major names. And in this industry, targeted direct outreach will be more effective than ads because we know who the streamers are. We don't have to find them. So this is Streamer Thoughts, Atrioc, a former NVIDIA employee, turned business and marketing streamer. He has 3,500 average viewers and 430,000 viewers on Twitch. The platform he streams on. He's a very influential economic and marketing commentator, sorry. And he's interviewed people like Gavin Newsom and Pete Buttigieg. And the next slide is what he had to say about Streezy.
There's a Shark Tank company from my school, and I'm doing intermediate service called Streezy that sub-licenses sports to streamers. What do you think? It's a great idea. Legitimately great idea. Yeah, if there was a way you could license out the ability to commentate sports to content creators online, who have to give you either a cut or a payment. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's a real streamer that could be a potential client. You can see him on Lakers hat. He has a very large audience. I watch him, other members of the club watch him too. Directly saying it's a good idea. So the streamers are clearly into it, and he has an audience for it as well. And it's just a quote for anyone that couldn't read it. It's not going to play fun, so yeah. So what's the competitive landscape like here? Well, YouTube has successfully done some creator-led NFL streams, but they're not very widespread, and YouTube also has no incentive to license to other platforms like Kick and Twitch, which a lot of other streamers are on, like Atrioc is on Twitch and Aiden Ross is on Kick. And then Dazen also does some co-streaming for select games, but only their boxing and MMA content is free and it's still blocked behind a paywall. So a lot of young viewers, they just watch streamers where they can for free and they don't go onto Dazen, for example. versus Streezy would be creator-led streams on all platforms, NFL first, then expand. And it's all free to the viewer, and the streamer pays for licensing. So the viewer isn't charged a dime. Of course, they can donate optionally, as viewers already do to streamers. So I'm Felony Stones. I'm the co-founder and I do the finance lead. Lucas Sheffer's an audience. He has experience in programming and content creation. He's very business driven.
My name is Vishwanath. I was a co-founder for this idea. I do client outreach, and I'm an avid sports follower, and I'm familiar with the pirating landscape. I do pirate games myself. Yeah.
He's the audience.
Yeah, so if this service was available to me, I'm sure I would use it because it's much easier than maybe getting my computer with a bunch of malware in it. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Victor. I have experience in digital content creation and also graphic design, as well as experience in programming.
Very experienced in programming. So our financial projections there. Our pricing model is small, 0 to 50 viewers, 20-month flat. And then as the viewership scales, we charge more per viewer. That's because big streamers are much better at monetizing their audiences. I'm not completely sure why, but I think usually it's not the individual viewers usually donating a lot. It's generally one way out the donor. It's a lot of money to these big streamers who really like them, and that's where the streamers get most of the money from. So our launch expectations, we would plan to launch with 1 large and 2 to 3 medium streamers with 17.5K average monthly viewers. And the total market size for this would be about 19 million in the US and 750 million global. Our costs, the biggest one would be the legal and team, 85K, operations and creative incentives, 71, and we plan to be net profitable by year 2. So the timeline here, 2027, Q1, we secure licensing. Q2, soft launch, add 1 to 2 large creators, and then by Q4, 17K average viewers. Then we plan to scale 10 to 15 streamers, and once we have an established track record, get big names like Sketch and Aiden Ross, around 100K average viewers, and then we could expand to other sports, like I myself, I love tennis, maybe get tennis up there, because that's really hard to watch as well, and the NBA and soccer. So that's it, thank you guys.
Yeah, great presentation. I love the ingenuity, the creativity and innovation. I guess my one question here, as we think about like software-based businesses and such, what is kind of like the defensible moat? If you start to get traction, what would stop someone who's watching this stream from just going to the next streamer? And then what would kind of differentiate you guys?
That's a good point. Well, we don't have to pick the streamer stuff. So if the streamer say doesn't, I think like if viewers just jump between streamers, not really counting money.
Well, if I was like, okay, I want to do this myself because it's profitable and it seems like a low barrier of entry, what would make you guys the ones to like win in this space?
The main difficulty is getting a sub-license with ESPN. I think a lot of other people might have trouble actually getting that license, and if we are able to secure that as young people going to them, and it's profitable for them, it's not so easy for anyone to get a license with ESPN. And once you have a relationship with the streamer as well, there are a lot of streamers, but there aren't infinite streamers. It's not anyone can sign on, find a streamer they like and get it. Like I said, Sketchy and Ross, those are 2 perfect examples. If we could secure those accounts early, and we would have a lot of viewers, as people that watch Sketchy and Ross, I think we would have a pretty good lockdown on the market with viewers.
Yeah, great answer.
Yeah, great presentation. Do you have any idea about how long, I know you mentioned like 62 and a half for the age for the average NFL person who sits and watches it. For younger folks, are they watching full games? Or are they watching highlights on YouTube? Do you have any information about that? Do younger people have the patience to watch a 2.5-hour sporting event?
Well, I could absolutely provide anecdotal events, and I was fish rougher as well. We watch sport games. I don't have empirical data on how much young people watch, but I mean, if I'm extrapolating what I know about my friends and stuff, we all watch long games. That's a good question. I would love to research that, find out. I can't imagine why, if somebody's interested in tennis and sports, why they wouldn't watch a streamer do it, because streamers already have people watching them for hours on end. But maybe if sports is really that uniquely boring, then I guess not. I think it's pretty interesting. So.
Good answer. Thanks.
First, I want to say that niche specific, are very, very good on that. I don't know anything about the streaming world, but for you, I can definitely see this going beyond what you're currently doing, because I can actually see you teaching others how to do it, and that could be an extra stream of income as well. So I think the one thing that I wanted to get a little more clarity on, as far as the problem, and I've seen the problem, but a little bit more on the solution, and a little more of the problem. But I think it was very good. As soon as when you started talking about it, I said, wow, this is very niche down. So you're in a really good space. So kudos to you.
Well, I thought it was a really good presentation. Thank you so much to you and your team. I know it's not just one person up here. It takes a whole team to be able to put this presentation together. It's a very interesting idea. I'm curious about, of course, the legal aspects of what would be involved in order to get the licensing and negotiations and things like that. If you could speak to a little bit more about what you think that would entail.
Right, that's a good question. Well, that I will admit is the hardest part about this idea, and that's why it kind of hasn't been done before. But the main thing is ESPN still needs to be convinced, because right now I did some research on this about what people at ESPN are saying and why they haven't tried something like this. Not this exactly, but in general they want control of their viewer base, and they think that they can get young viewers without having to make it free. They think they can convince young viewers to come onto the platform and watch the stuff by adding stuff like Toy Story. So the first big step is convincing ESPN. Then of course, like the legal and cost would be a lot. And I saw your trademark doing it there. We would try to hire someone like you to help us actually figure out the logistics of the deal. But in my mind, the biggest first hurdle is convincing ESPN, which I think we are in, as I said, the unique advantage to do, and that would be our biggest first step.
Yeah, thanks for coming and talking about this. This is a super cool idea, and I think that you'd be able to actually convince like an ESPN or a lot of these agencies to do this. My only concern would be, it sounds like, at least when I'm thinking about the business model, you guys are kind of like in between the streamers and then the sports agencies, and you're kind of taking a cut of that. Like, what's kind of stopping ESPN from being like, this is a great idea, I'm just gonna go find like the most popular streamers and start licensing to that. I think that's like the one real issue that I can think of.
Right. And like you said as well, that could possibly, but once we have the clients like Sketchman and Ross, there are only so many clients that they can reach out to, and it's not an infinite space. And once you've built a relationship with the streamer, you've established it works, and it's hard for ESPN to come and attach get more streamers if you already have them, right? There are, I would estimate about 500 large streamers in the US who have something to do with sports. If we were to be able to get to 50, 60 of the biggest ones, it'd be hard for ESPN to take a notable cut of that space. Of course, we can't have a monopoly on it forever, and the world of competition, we realize that. But I think we're in a unique advantage in the early days, and we'll be able to leverage that advantage to maintain our dominance in the space after we've already established it. And we can also sell the ESPN as well. And we get and one more thing, sorry. We got other sports as well, like tennis, that ESPN doesn't have licensing to, and then it'd be really hard for ESPN to do what we're doing, because they would also need to license with the other sports leagues as well, like NBC and CBS and Tennis TV and stuff. So they would have to go through the same challenges we had, despite the thing.
So I have a couple of concerns. I also agree about the big players that you're up against here, but ESPN is also owned by Disney, right? So that's an even bigger player. And the second thing would be the demographics, because what I see when I look at demographic profiles of your generation and those after you is going down in numbers significantly compared to the aging population that we have. And so I just wonder about how long your market is going to actually be viable.
Right, like, do you mean, what do you mean, like, we're aging and when we're older, we'll stop watching streamers, or?
Just that there'll be fewer of you,
Right, I see.
younger people that you're trying to attract from streaming.
Well, thus far, streamers have still maintained the audience despite people aging. Like, there are a lot of streamers, like, I think an example there. Preston Plays, I'll say. He still has viewers, and I was watching him when I was little, and now little kids are watching him. And a lot of streamers like that, they gain new viewers as over time. It's not necessarily like I'll say this, I don't think it's a dated format. I think young people to come will still be interested in streamers. I don't think that those will expire in popularity. And I find new streamers I like every day. They're old, they're streamers of all different, who have all different age groups and demographics watching them. Although usually it is on the younger side. And as the population that are watching ESPN ages, we will age as well, I agree, but eventually, I mean, they're older than us, people watching ESPN, and then they'll die, and then the people watching streamers might become the main viewer base, so that might be the main demographic that they weren't